The University of Dayton Spring Graduation Ceremony for the year 2022 is herewith convened. Graduates, you were given a medal bearing on one side the image of Blessed William Joseph Chaminade, the founder of the Society of Mary, the religious order that sponsors the University of Dayton. On the other side is the seal of the university. In Chaminade's ever-inspiring example, we entrust you to go forth living humbly, acting boldly, and working imaginatively and prayerfully to build community throughout the human family. At this time, I invite you to place the medal around your neck in concert with the colors of our university. In prayer for our community and communities everywhere, let us pause for an invocation by Father James Fitz, and then please remain standing if you are able at the conclusion of the prayer for our national anthem. Father Jim.
Let us pray. God of mercy and love, during their years of study here at the university, you have graciously formed our law graduates through many and varied experiences. In the height of the pandemic and now in the face of war in Ukraine, they have encountered obstacles and experiences that none of them expected. In spite of the sometimes difficult moments, and certainly in the diversity of their journeys, they are united this day in joy and thanksgiving for all the ways you have brought wisdom to their lives. All of us gathered here join them in these sentiments. We thank you for the talents and abilities given to them, for the insights and learning shared with them, and for the persons, especially their families, who have walked with them and supported them with love. Thank you for these gifts of life and love. But this day is not only a celebration of what they have accomplished, but a clarion call to their future. For some, the direction is clear. For others, the future is still unfolding. But one thing is certain. In the moments of hope and joy, in the moments of grief and anxiety, you have promised to be with them, to nourish them on the journey. We read in the book of Psalms, "The law of the Lord is perfect, refreshing the soul. The decree of the Lord is trustworthy, giving wisdom to the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The command of the Lord is clear, enlightening the eye." We ask and pray that your law, decrees, precepts, and commands may refresh, guide, rejoice, and enlighten our graduates this day and every day of their lives. We joyfully make this prayer of invocation and thanksgiving because you, our loving God, live and reign in our lives now and forever. Amen.
Please be seated. On behalf of the University of Dayton community, I extend a very warm welcome to all assembled here today. There's much to be proud of today as we gather to honor our newest graduates. At this ceremony, we will award 111 law degrees. Each of our graduates knows the critical role that professors and staff members have played in making their graduation possible. It is with great pleasure that I introduce the members of the School of Law faculty and staff who are present and invite them to stand and be recognized. Thank you. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce the 19th President of the University of Dayton, Dr. Eric Spina.
Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Happy day? You can't see, but the sun is shining outside. So I'm very happy to be here today to offer you my warmest congratulations on reaching this pinnacle. What an outstanding achievement. You've worked incredibly hard, and I can feel the enormous pride of your professors, your classmates, and especially your families. As I prepared my remarks for today, I reflected on the words of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" As you embark on your legal career, keep that question at the forefront of your mind. Let it nag at you a bit. What am I doing for others? As a graduate of a Catholic Marianist law school, you know law is much more than just a career. It's a vocation that asks you to balance being an excellent lawyer in the profession with being a humble servant leader in the world. I'm confident that you will use your law degree to seek justice for all, particularly the powerless and the marginalized. While we strive to be a university for the common good, it is this approach, caring for the powerless and marginalized as part of your vocation, that puts that aspiration into action. I urge you to deliver legal services with empathy and compassion for all who seek your help, no matter their circumstances in life. That's what sets a University of Dayton lawyer apart. I'm quite confident about the prospects for this class of 2022 and the mark you will make on the world. I'm confident because you are resilient. You may not have envisioned taking part in an oral argument over the phone or resolving a dispute on a Zoom call, but the practice of law in the days ahead will require you to be flexible, creative, and open to practicing outside the box, perhaps in a remote environment. The resilience you have shown as a law student during the pandemic tells me that you have the fortitude to be a strong and effective advocate, no matter the complexity of the issue or the desperate need of the client. I am confident because you are flexible. After all, you quickly adapted to hybrid classes in the midst of law school and adjusted to a new way of learning. The Marianist identity charges this university to educate for adaptation and change, and your flexibility shows that you learned that lesson, a lesson that will continue to serve you well, since nothing in life is ever certain. I'm confident because you are problem solver extraordinaire. Think of all the hands-on practical experiences, from representing clients in the law clinic to working side by side with lawyers in the greater Dayton legal community during your externships, that have challenged you to figure out the most complex of situations so that you could counsel others, serve as an advocate for justice, and at times be a voice for the voiceless. With your University of Dayton law degree, fortified by a Catholic Marianist mission as your moral compass, You are prepared to adapt in a changing world. And because you are competent, compassionate, empathetic, and creative, you will persevere through these challenging times and whatever life may bring you in the future. And I dare say, you will not just persevere, you will thrive. Once again, congratulations, you did it. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce Andrew Strauss, Dean of the School of Law, who will now address the graduates.
Thank you, President Spina, and good morning. On behalf of the faculty and staff, it is my great privilege to welcome all of you to the commencement exercises for the class of 2022. Today we celebrate our JD, MSL, and LLM graduates' academic accomplishments both inside and outside the classroom. After 3 years of missed commencements, virtual observances, and hybrid ceremonies, we are all finally back in this arena celebrating in a way befitting of this meaningful occasion. Graduates, my wish for you today is to truly experience this singular rite of passage in all of its depth. Be aware of and savor its sensory riches. The visual uniformity of all your classmates attired in coal black robes with purple stripes and accented by strange flat hats. The aromatic sweetness of the perfume emanating from your festively dressed family and friends. The commanding sound of voices administering ancient incantations echoing throughout this cavernous arena. But beneath this sensory melange, there is another level to your experience. So as to truly mark this day, take a moment to gather yourselves and ask beneath all that swirl of sensation, what is it you are also feeling inside? Seriously, if you will, just take a moment. Commencement comes from the root to commence, which means to begin. So perhaps you are feeling a sense of newness, of excitement or anticipation for your future that is about to unfold. But then there is the parallel reality that something important too is ending. So maybe there is a poignant feeling of loss, of bereavement even, for the life and the community with both its beauty and challenges you have all created during your time at UDSL. Perhaps this is matched by a sense of satisfaction, maybe pride for the achievement of getting through law school and everything else that you have accomplished during your time at UDSL. And then there is the ever-present existential reality symbolized so powerfully by our ceremony here today, that life is impermanent and always in flux. So maybe too there is a vulnerable feeling of touching the ethereal, the spiritual, or maybe even your own transience. With all of this, I wouldn't be surprised if beyond the celebrating and reverie you feel, all blended in one stew, you feel excited, wishful, relieved, adrift, hopeful, and perhaps much more. So with your revealed feelings and sense of awe for this day front and center, my hope now is to commemorate it with the reflection it deserves. At a time when we are awash with falsehoods from social media, from political leaders, and I'm sorry to say, from some in our own profession, what could be more salient a topic than the truth, and as lawyers, our commitment to it? And where better to begin such a discussion at law school graduation than with the time-honored method of truth-seeking for which we have named our teaching technique. For the uninitiated in the audience, the Socratic method, as any one of our graduates could tell you, is the process of analysis by which law professors try to lead students to the right or true answer in class. For the committed professorial practitioner of this craft, every student answer to a question will spur 5 more queries with facts altered, assumptions probed, contradictions revealed. More than a few of our graduates here can tell you that the experience of being subjected to the Socratic method can be very humbling. By exposing every answer to a rigorous examination, the student learns that the foundation of the most firmly held views can always be questioned, that every proposition can be seen from a multiplicity of angles, and that the deeper our exploration, the less we often seem to know. In fact, so complex is this search for truth that philosophers, including some connected to law, have developed an entire branch of their discipline, epistemology, just to explore its challenges. To illustrate a sampling of this complexity, day to day we generally trust our senses to give us information about what is true, and yet, upon reflection, we know they are far from reliable. For example, we have understood since Copernicus that our daily sensory experience of seeing the sun rotate around the earth is illusory. Closer to home, for us in law, some evidence professors have been known to start their first class with a staged theft. A Confederate runs into the classroom and, say, steals a backpack. The professor will then question the stunned students about the details of what just happened. Where did the assailant come from? What color shirt was he wearing? And the like. And invariably, it turns out that the student eyewitnesses, relying primarily on their senses of sight and sound, offer radically different and unreliable answers. Still more fundamentally, does it make sense to postulate that there even exists an independent, objective reality out there that can be known? Modern quantum physics suggests maybe not, that the very attempt to observe reality, at least at the subatomic level, changes that reality. As our perspective has grown over the centuries, the problem of knowing the truth has grown with it. Developments from the Renaissance through the Enlightenment were successful in replacing what came to be regarded by many as questionable religious certainties of the past with what seemed to be iron laws of reason. But in our own postmodern era, we have seen as well the limits of rational certainties. I don't believe it is hyperbole to say that the confusion and meaningless of living with not knowing is providing the psychological underpinnings for many of the social and political crises that threaten our future. To relieve the uncomfortable angst of living with uncertainty, many in our society are yielding to the false comfort of absolutist dogmas. The result, as we are seeing, is polarizing camps, each so desperately clinging to its need to claim truth, whatever the cost, that the very fabric of our society is being torn apart. At least as threatening to our future are those who, in the face of uncertainty, so completely give up on the possibility of truth that they see its manipulation as just one more tool in the toolbox for gaining power. We see this in the proliferation of fake bots designed to perpetrate falsehoods on social media, the prevalence of conspiracy theorists who, for their own ends, sow social distrust and discord, and the outright lies being told for political gain. Neither our moral order nor the legal manifestation of that order can long endure if we can no longer trust each other to tell the truth as best we can and in good faith. Ascertaining the truth is difficult, yes, but how can our court system preserve the legitimacy necessary to preserve compliance with its rulings if judges come to be seen as manipulating law and facts for political aims without sincere regard to claims to truth? Similarly, how can our elected legislative and executive branch officials continue to command authority as the agreed-upon focal points for political decision-making if cynicism about the truth overwhelms the factual basis for determining who among them have been rightfully elected to their positions? Living with uncertainty is challenging for all of us, but our response needn't be tenaciously holding on to dogmas or replacing the pursuit of truth with the power-driven manipulation of the truth. There is another option, and that option is the one you have embarked upon during your studies characterized by the Socratic method at the University of Dayton. It is the option of earnest inquiry, to keep persevering day by day with all of the struggle and difficulty that entails, to find the better, if not the answer. And in the wake of the postmodern shattering of all previous certainties, to continue as well in the more encompassing quest for new, more profound ways of knowing. Here, too, you can draw inspiration from your time at the University of Dayton. As a society of seekers in the humble and non-dogmatic pursuit of truth, the Marinists provide a rich example of how we can all embark upon that quest. And so, graduates, as you take your place as the next generation of guardians of the legal system, I ask you to think about your own relationship to the truth. With the power that marks this special day, how truly meaningful it could be if you can sanctify it with a solemn pledge to yourself to commit to the continued pursuit of truth, come what may. In that way, might you live your lives so as to wholeheartedly seek your own life's meaning, help preserve the integrity of the legal system, and find solidarity in a common search, if not common answers, across the political divide. Good luck and Godspeed. Thank you. It's now time for me to introduce our student awardees and our student speaker. Each year, the School of Law honors a student who has enriched the law school community by promoting community service and social justice with the Brother Raymond Fitz Student Leader for Justice Award. The award is given to a student who has followed in the footsteps of the award's namesake, Brother Fitz, who served as UD's president by actively seeking ways to better the world. The university has decided to honor a student who exemplified the qualities that Brother Fitz embodied through his calling for social justice. The recipient is a student whose outstanding community service and determination to help others represents the best of our Catholic and Maronist tradition. The student's name will be engraved on a plaque to be displayed in the law school. Destiny Johnson, please stand and be recognized as the winner of this year's Raymond Fitz Leader for Justice Award. Destiny, keep standing. I'm not finished with you yet. Destiny is dedicated, talented, and committed to excellence in all that she does. She shows tremendous potential, and I have no doubt that she will have a bright future as an outstanding attorney and leader. During her tenure as a law student, she has managed to showcase her intelligence and leadership within the UD community through her roles as president of the Black Law Students Association, chief of Moot Court, and member of Law Review. Quite a troika. She worked as a teaching assistant her second and third year of law school and was described as reliable, responsive, and committed. I have watched Destiny bloom as a leader in this community and have been impressed by her dual empathy for her classmates and her sense of broader social purpose. Destiny has taken the time to give of herself, not only to law school, but also to the greater Dayton community. By mentoring young people in the Dayton public school system through the Law and Leadership Institute, which engages Dayton area high school students over the summer who have an interest in law or legal careers. In addition, she has served on the planning committee of the Greater Dayton Area Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Legal Roundtable, where she worked tirelessly this past year to coordinate the organization's mentorship program. Again, please join me in congratulating Destiny Johnson, the 2022 winner of the Brethren Raymond Fitz Student Leadership for Justice Award. You may now be seated, Destiny. The Lisa A. Kloppenberg Student Leadership Award is one of distinct honors conferring upon a graduating law student. This award, which was created by the Student Bar Association 10 years ago, recognizes a student who has made an outstanding contribution to the University of Dayton School of Law by successfully balancing leadership excellence inside and outside the classroom with a substantial commitment to public service and community engagement. This awardee's name is to be engraved on a plaque to be displayed in the law school. Lauren Breitenstein, please stand to be recognized as this year's recipient of the Lisa A. Kloppenberg Student Leadership Award. In her pursuit of excellence through public service and community engagement, Lauren has spent countless hours working for the betterment of Greater Dayton. This comes as no surprise, since her desire to come to law school and obtain this degree hinged on her passion to eradicate injustice. Throughout her tenure at the University of Dayton School of Law, Lauren has taken on numerous roles of leadership in student and community organizations, including, but not limited to, being president of the Human Rights Awareness and Advocacy Group, spearheading the CLE Lawyers for Social Change, working on starting a nonprofit that would connect clients with legal service, and clerking for advocates for basic legal equality. With all of the obligations and responsibility of being a student, Lauren still managed to accrue almost 400 hours of community service. Again, please join me in congratulating Lauren Breitenstein, the 2022 Lisa A. Kloppenberg Student Leadership Award. Congratulations, Lauren. Academic excellence is at the very heart of the mission of the University of Dayton and its law school. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce an example of student leadership through academic excellence, Melissa Mazur. Melissa comes from a military family. One of her grandfathers was in the Army and one was in the Navy, and Melissa herself is a captain in the Air Force. What she didn't have growing up was any family exposure to the legal profession, but somehow she got the idea from the time she was a little girl that she wanted to go to law school. She, for some reason, however, didn't think she was smart enough to do the work. Well, Melissa, I'm here to tell you you got that wrong. Melissa is quite simply outstanding academically. A member of our Leadership Honors Program during her time at UDSL, she has won 7 Cali Awards, which are given to the top student in each course. And in her 3rd year, she was voted by her peers on the Law Review to become the Review's editor-in-chief. She has also been a wonderful community citizen. She made a significant contribution this last year with very high praise from my colleagues as a student representative on the faculty committee which formulates academic policy. In addition, she has been guardian ad litem, a court-appointed advocate for someone not capable of representing themselves. Before enrolling in law school, Melissa received her undergraduate degree in atmospheric science from Purdue University, which she followed with a 5-year career using that very degree in the Air Force as a lead weather forecaster. Following graduation and the bar, she will return to the Air Force as a lawyer in Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas. Well, you don't have to be a meteorologist to forecast that Melissa has a very promising career ahead of her. Melissa, come to the podium and give some thoughts, please. See you over there.
Sorry, I'll find it. I don't know where it is. Are we sure it's on this side? I'm not allowed to go off script, so give me a sec.
I do.
Well done. All right. Good morning. There's so much to say, and I only have a few minutes, so I guess the real thing I want to say is thank you. First to my peers, we did it. Each one of you has brought so much value to our class's experience, and for that, thank you. By any measure, what we have been through the last few years has been a challenge. And there's no other way to say it, but the sheer fact that we are sitting here today shows that we have risen to that challenge. It's crazy. The past 6 semesters can be culminated to the rest of the world with a few numbers, a piece of paper, and the letters JD. But honestly, it doesn't do our experience justice. Your GPA, your rank, even that title, they do not begin to capture you or your experience. It does not say that we went through law school in a pandemic. It does not say that you had to change your entire learning experience halfway through a semester. It does not say whether you got sick or cared for somebody who was sick. It does not say whether you got married, divorced, had a kid, or lost someone that you loved. It does not say whether you had a huge move or traveled hours to get to class or to an externship. It does not say how hard you fought in your first semester or during your last, or trying to help a friend turn theirs around. It does not say whether you battled mental health daily or how often you thought of quitting. And sure, you could put some of that experience in a resume, but even that doesn't do us justice. The numbers, the titles, they don't define you. They don't define your success in law school, and they don't define what you or what you went through. I want to tell you that your value is not limited to the number or the identity society has given you. Having met you and gotten to know you through one of the most challenging experiences, I can honestly say that I would not have made it without you. And for that, thank you. And I am so honored to have had this experience with you, and I'm so excited to see where you go with that experience and knowledge that you have gained in those 6 crazy semesters. And to those who gave us that structure and knowledge, the faculty, this experience could not have happened without you. Just as much as we battled those Zoom rooms and struggled to engage with the material through a screen, your love for teaching and for us is etched in every minute that we waded through those uncharted waters together. To me, it says that this was more than just a job, it was a passion. You all have gone above and beyond to just explain the law, but to relate it to us and to prepare us for what is to come. Your passion is evident, and I hope that we can bring that with us into our next chapter. And finally, to the friends and family here today, thank you. In these ceremonies, the focus is always on the graduate, with a short shout out to all the attendees and helping us on the way. But sincerely, this accomplishment is not ours alone. The sacrifice was not ours alone. Whether willingly or begrudgingly, you took up this flag with us as we face this challenge. We would not be here without you. And I know I had to rely a ton on my support of my family and friends. Whether it be talking me off a ledge because I went through a bout of imposter syndrome and wanted to quit, or asking me to take a picture of my lunch just to make sure I ate that day. I owe so much to my support system. And they, like everyone else here, helped and sacrificed so much, tangible, intangible. You helped us get here to this moment, whether it be advice or financial help, or just an understanding voice at the other end after I got beat up by Professor Watson's cold call again. We would not be here without you. If there are two words that I can express on behalf of everyone, that is thank you. With so much gratitude to all of those who have helped us, I do have one thing left to say. Congratulations, University of Dayton School of Law, class of 2022.
Thank you, Melissa. That was beautiful. It is my privilege this morning to welcome the class of 2022 graduation speaker, Anne Marie Slaughter. Dr. Slaughter is an attorney, is one of the nation's foremost experts in foreign policy. We were classmates at Princeton's School of Public and International Affairs, formerly the Woodrow Wilson School, and as a fellow international lawyer, I have had the great pleasure of watching her illustrious career unfold. Following Princeton, where she graduated magna cum laude and was a recipient of the prestigious Sachs Award, she went on to graduate from Harvard Law School and then to receive her master's and ultimately doctorate in philosophy in international relations from Oxford University. In her unparalleled academic career, she has been a professor at the University of Chicago Law School, the Harvard Law School, and Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. She also returned to Princeton to become the Dean of the School of Public and International Affairs, where she additionally was appointed to become the Kerstetter University Professor. She served as the President of the American Society of International Law and went on to become the Director for Policy Planning at the State Department during the Obama administration. For those who may be unfamiliar, policy planning is the key strategic planning unit of the State Department, essentially the department's brain trust, and the director reports directly to the Secretary of State. With 9 books, the latest of which was published in September, and over 100 articles, one might say with understatement that she is published widely. I remember she discussed some of my own work in her 2005 book, A New World Order, and as I recall, she didn't totally agree with me. Clearly, Dr. Slaughter is an academic's academic, but as a contributing editor to The Atlantic magazine and someone whose opinions frequent our nation's most prestigious newspapers and is often heard on the broadcast media, including even Bill Maher's Real Time, she is also clearly a public intellectual. She is currently the CEO of one of Washington's most important policy organizations, New America. In addition to all of this, she has raised 2 sons with her husband, Princeton professor Andrew Moravchik. Not surprisingly, having balanced all of this, she perhaps is most known for her thinking about the challenges of women having it all that began with an article she wrote for The Atlantic magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, Anne Marie Slaughter.
We have these a little out of order, so let me just find mine because I know they were here, right there. So thank you, Dean Strauss. Dean Strauss and I did not compare our remarks, but you will notice a certain amount of overlap. I promise you it was uncoordinated. It is a response to the time. But President Spina and Provost Benson and Dean Strauss, to the administrators and to the staff who make this day possible, to families and faculty, to students, to graduates, and distinguished guests. I have the honor to address you this morning. So you graduate today as lawyers. Some of you are ready to be licensed to practice, and others are already licensed, but you are now masters of new skills and areas of law. You've taken the first big step to master a field that society associates with disputes and conflict at a time when the most common adjective to describe our society here in this country and societies around the world is polarized. People clustering around poles at opposite ends of a spectrum. Many people might think that adding more lawyers to that society is going to make matters worse. And indeed, I'm guessing, with all your families here, that when you first came home that first year, of course, many of you were sitting on Zoom, so maybe when you came to a meal, you were impossible. You argued with everything. You questioned everything. You used your new skills to turn black into white and white into black. That's indeed a large part of what we teach you to do. And many of you will go to work for firms where you will take sides, where you will work for either the plaintiff or the defendant, or represent different sides on a deal who are often far apart. When I taught civil procedure, I would begin with a quotation from one of the textbooks I used. It said, "Civil procedure is the etiquette of ritualized battle." So imagine a movie with two knights galloping toward one another with their lances raised, with the low fence between them, trying to knock each other off the horse. Indeed, if any of you have seen a movie that came out last year with Adam Driver and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, it's called The Last Duel. If you haven't, I recommend it. It is the story of trial by combat. It was exactly ritualized battle. Instead of just letting the two disputants at one another to have it out, there's a very choreographed way that you could win. And it was a legally sanctioned duel in medieval France. So that is exactly what we talk about when we talk about ritualized battle. Today that takes place in a courtroom, but still with lots of rules. And it's the way we make sure that right triumphs over might. So if I ask you, okay, you new lawyers, or you lawyers who now have new skills, how are you going to help bring society together? How are you going to use those skills not to divide, but to unite? One of the things that you might answer is that you actually can now help people resolve disputes before they descend into violence, that you can follow those rules that enable us to have that ritualized battle without violence. But then what happens when people stop believing that the rules are fair or that they are fairly applied? So that when a judge or a jury decides a case, it can actually drive the two sides farther apart. What happens when people believe that the other side has somehow rigged the system or politicized the law? I want to suggest a number of ways that you, as lawyers, can bring people closer together. Well, one thing you might say right away, and I think many of you are probably thinking, I'm not going to be a litigator. That's the part of the law we see on TV, but I'm not going to be a litigator. I'm going to be a corporate lawyer or another kind of lawyer. And we're not about the courtroom battle. We're problem solvers. And you heard Dean Strauss talk about that. The clients who come to us are not necessarily in a dispute. Maybe they want a government contract, or to get a patent, or to close a deal. And we're the people that help them do that. We bring them together and enable them to do what they want to do. So that's right. And I think it is critically important as lawyers, and for all of you listening who are looking at the new lawyers in your family or among your friends, to think of those lawyers as problem solvers. And how do you solve those problems that your clients bring you? Well, the first thing you do is you listen really hard. You figure out what your client really wants, which may not be what he or she thinks that they want. Take a very basic example. A client may come to you thinking that she wants to incorporate a business, and you listen hard about the nature of that business, and you may realize, no, you actually are setting up a partnership. A small difference, but something you need to listen hard to figure out. Or a client may come to you and he says he wants to sue his neighbor for property damage. And you listen hard and you realize that what he really wants is not a lawsuit, but an apology. That's what mediators do, and lawyers are a big part of that process. You listen, you ask questions, you explore alternatives. The other thing you do to help solve problems is you put yourself in your client's shoes and also in the shoes of the other side. One of the annoying things we do as lawyers, my husband tells me this all the time, is I make an argument to him, and then I anticipate his counter-argument and answer that before he's had a chance to speak. Annoying, but I can do that because I can imagine being him on the other side of the case. So I say, I tell him something under the law, and then I think he's going to respond this way, and I'll respond. You put yourself in the other side's shoes. And indeed, when we teach you to think like a lawyer, we teach you to make arguments on every side of a question. And a lot of you resist that. A lot of you feel like, wait a minute, you're just turning me into a hired gun. You know, for sale, I can make arguments this way or that way. But actually, teaching you, or for you to learn how to make arguments on every side of a question, is how we teach you how to hear those arguments and to put yourself in that other person's shoes and to imagine what the case looks like or the problem looks like from their perspective as well as yours. That is the root of tolerance. We cannot live together in a democracy, in a society, without at least understanding where other people are coming from, even when we disagree with them. Another thing that you do, after listening and putting yourself in the shoes of the other side, is you take what seems like a very simple story and you complicate it. And again, Dean Strauss talked about that. The truth is always complicated. Just think about what you learned about eyewitness testimony in evidence. The ways in which multiple people can watch exactly the same event and see very different things, depending on their angle of vision, on what they're focusing on, and what they are predisposed to see. Now, the best way to see this, and I will say this to everybody in the audience, is the invisible gorilla experiment. Just check it out on YouTube, preferably not now. Wait till we're done. But Google the invisible gorilla experiment. What you will see is an experiment where 6 people, 3 wearing white shirts and 3 wearing black shirts, stand in a circle, and the people in white shirts throw a basketball to one another, and the people in black shirts throw a basketball to one another. And the observer is told figure out or count how many times the people in white shirts pass the ball. And it's complicated. They're all standing in a circle and they're all passing the ball back and forth, and you're trying not to pay attention to the people in the black shirts who are doing the same thing. 30 seconds in, a human in a gorilla suit, a full-body gorilla suit, marches into the middle of the circle, beats his or her chest, and then walks out. After the experiment, I've had it done to me, and I was one of these people. After the experiment, half the people never saw the gorilla. Just didn't see him or her because they were focusing on something else. And those people will say, that did not happen. I was there. I was watching. How could somebody in a gorilla suit walk into the middle of this and I didn't see them? But they didn't. So we know that people think they see things, believe things, are certain of things, and yet that is not the whole truth. And so what you have to do as a lawyer is to actually figure out the real fact pattern, the full fact pattern, putting something that seems very simple into much, much more complicated context. That process of turning simple binaries, black and white, good and evil, right and wrong, into a much more complicated and nuanced story, that is how a society, a group, a neighborhood turns from what is called high conflict, where we are just dug in and we cannot see anything good about the other side. That is how you turn high conflict into conflict that actually can be resolved. That is precisely what you as lawyers who have learned to understand and look for the complexity of things can help all of us do. And when you do that, you reduce the emotional intensity of that conflict. Because, and here's the last thing you can do as lawyers to help, you can remind us, when you complicate that story, you can remind us of our common humanity. As I look out on this audience, I have no doubt that many of us have different politics. But I also know that all of you love your children. I know all of you, or your friends, or your grandchildren, or your nieces, or your nephews, or whatever the relationship is to a graduate that brings you here today. And all the graduates, I know you love the people who are watching you today, either virtually or physically. That binds us as humans, that love that we bear for those that are closest to us. That is one of the things that no matter what we may differ on, we have in common. We feel for one another, we come to one another's aid in times of disaster. We also are aware that we all have flaws. And indeed, here we are at the University of Dayton in the Marian tradition, you might say we are all sinners. I had a deep crisis as a leader 4 or 5 years ago. And when it happened, I called one of my board members and he told me, run toward the criticism. And he gave me the example of, let's say you're having an argument with your spouse. I have frequent arguments with my spouse. I love him dearly, but let's say he says to me, oh my God, you're such a slob. And I say to him, you know, you're just a control freak. And I know he's wrong. I know he's wrong. He's 98% wrong. But maybe I did leave those dishes in the sink. Maybe he's 2% right. My board member's advice was to run toward that 2%, to beat down that defensiveness that leads me to attack when he accuses me of something that I know maybe I did, to run toward that criticism and to learn from it, and to recognize, of course I'm flawed, he's flawed, we are human, we are all flawed. How do we learn from the recognition of those failings? How do we grow? That is also part of our common humanity. So go forth, It's a glorious day. The sun is shining somewhere. But go forth not as dividers, but as uniters. Go forth as people who solve problems. People who solve problems before they can become really ugly disputes. People who listen and who ask questions, who challenge what others are so certain is the truth. People who reject simple stories and explore the far more complicated fact pattern underneath them. People who remind us of why we need the rules, why we work within the rules, why we need those rules to protect us from all of our flaws. People who remind us of our common humanity. Go forth as lawyers and be proud of joining a wonderful and deep and necessary tradition. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those wise words, Dr. Slaughter. At this time, our president, Dr. Spina, and Dean Strauss will confer the degrees upon the graduates of the class of 2022. Dean Strauss.
Will the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctorate please rise? Will the candidates for the degree of Masters of Law please rise? Will the candidates for the degree in the Master of the Study of Law please rise? President Spina, it gives me great pleasure to present the candidates who have completed all of the requirements prescribed by the faculty of the School of Law for their respective degrees, and to recommend them as worthy of being awarded the degree for which they have been approved.
Honorable Dean Strauss, in my own name, in the name of the University of Dayton, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Dayton and the state of Ohio, I confer upon the candidates the degree for which they have been approved. Congratulations.
Candidates for Juris Doctor: Alyssa Marie Acevedo, Pro Bono Award. Shireen Allen, Mitchell Allman, Silas Augsburger, Lauren Barrow, Devin Emery Bartlett, Ethan Basham. Madison Batley Pro Bono Award. Dmitry Bikmayev. Kyle Kenneth Boyer.
Lauren Breitenstein, Pro Bono Award. Corey Lynn Brock, Pro Bono Award. Shalante Janae Carmen. Phoebe Elizabeth Cates. Marin Cofrancesco, Pro Bono Award. Levi Jeffrey Kramer. Stephanie Michelle Davis, Pro Bono Award. Trevor Robert Cleedith Davis. Cullen Demarest. Noelle Marie DeRiso, Pro Bono Award.
Lauren Divine Academic Honors Pro Bono Award. Devin Gerard Donahue. Connor Joseph Dowd Academic Honors. Salha El Shweedi Pro Bono Award. Kevin Matthew Ernest. Michael Erickson Pro Bono Award. Austin Gage Irvin. Tadra Fairclough Pro Bono Award. Sergio G. Fernandez. Braden Michael Finch.
John Anthony Graves. Sarah Renee Gregg. Dylan Jarrett Hansel. Jaron Allen Hardesty, Academic Honors. Aaron Kendall Hartley. Caden Eugene Wayne Heskett, Pro Bono Award. Emily Nicole Holland, Pro Bono Award. Gina Marie Iacovangelo, Pro Bono Award. Destiny Jessica Adonica Johnson. Sungmin Jung.
Nicholas Canoza, Academic Honors. Christian Faith Keith. Philip Thomas Kelly, Academic Honors. Cole Kirchhoff. Christopher D. Lewis. Hao Chen Ling. Craig A. Looper II. Rachel Lauper. Natisse Lorton.
Clayton Edward Marsh. Melissa N. Mazer, Academic Honors, Pro Bono Award. Marcella Teresa McHenry. Hannah Marie Mitchell. Karina Stephanie Montoya. Ricky Lee Murray, Academic Honors, Pro Bono Award. Lauren Miska, Pro Bono Award. Connor Noss. Taylor Neal, Pro Bono Award.
Maxwell Brady Newsom, Academic Honors. Nicholas Ian Duck Newen. Grace Jaggy. Abigail Lee Ogden. Kyler Palmer. Daniel Rafferty, Academic Honors Pro Bono Award. Kyla Randall. Griffin Robert Riles.
Hayla Cheyenne Zaina Solheya, Pro Bono Award. Anna Noel Santos. Anna Nicole Self. Malia Robin Chappelle. Jenna Nicole Skeen, Pro Bono Award. Chelsea Renee Small. Emily Michelle Smith.
Stephanie Marie Stack. Jordan Patrick Staley. Amber B. Stocks. Courtney Nicole Strickland, Academic Honors. Andrew Walter Toon. Taylor Lauren Tyler. Nicole Vega. Hannah Elizabeth Wales, Academic Honors.
Candidates for Master of Law: Isabella Brazil do Amaro. Maruja Boyd. Victoria Datsova.
Paula Rodriguez. Pamela Helen Dereza Batara Polka. Hernan Simo. Deanna Stepanian. Andrei Stolbunov. Edward Martin Ulep. Werner Dieter von Straten.
Candidates for Master in the Study of Law: Krista Renee Chinoweth. Erin Elizabeth Higgins. Leslie Elvina Hill. Joshua Raymond Hughes.
Jill Suzanne Richards. Wendell Keith Rome. Christy Russey. Shelby Ray Shoemake. Denise Stevens. Jessica Webb.
Andrew Paul Breen.
Graduates, congratulations. You've now earned the right to transfer your tassel on your cap to the left side. At this time, I would like to introduce Becky McLennan, a 2011 alumna of the University of Dayton School of Law and president of the School of Law Alumni Association. Ms. McLennan.
My name is Becky McLennan. I'm a proud 2011 graduate of the University of Dayton School of Law two-year program and am the president of the UDSL Alumni Association. Congratulations. And let me be the first to welcome you to the family of the University of Dayton School of Law Alumni Association. I'm so grateful to be more than simply a graduation speaker with only a cursory connection to you, the graduates. I had the privilege of co-teaching the Small Business Planning Capstone class spring semester with 17 of you as my students. And I got a little teary when I saw you in the processional. Thank you for educating me as to the many different majors beyond the JD that are offered here. Thank you for teaching me to be a better teacher to the students for whom English isn't a second language. Thank you for giving me faith that our students continue to be some of the best, both academically and as champions of our Marianist traditions. I expect remarkable things from each of you and look forward to working together as fellow alums. And you may now call me Becky instead of Professor McLennan. Prior to teaching this semester, I was guilty of focusing only on our JD students. However, I was blessed to have a cross-section of majors in my capstone class and witnessed firsthand the quality and dedication of our UDSL students pursuing LLMs and MSLs. Let me assure you that all graduates of UDSL are welcome in the Alumni Association. It's not just the lawyers. My service to UDSL also includes serving as a coach to 1Ls in the Academic Success Program, and for the past several years, I have worked with the Road to Bar Passage program, grading practice bar exam essays and occasionally mentoring students. I invite each of you graduating today to find your niche at UDSL where you can make a difference for those who follow you. Law school is a journey that is easier with caring people along the way. At every opportunity, I tell students of the engaged alumni who are available to offer assistance, guidance, and encouragement. You are now one of us and are entrusted to continue the fine tradition of the UDSL Alumni Association. We genuinely care for and support each other. Our UDSL Alumni Association now has over 6,000 members. The primary mission of the Alumni Association is to foster strong, positive alumni relations, encourage support for, and be a lifelong ambassador of the University of Dayton School of Law. Membership to the Alumni Association is automatic. You are now all in. Now I ask each of you to make something of that membership. I'm asking you now to stay connected and remain involved with UDSL. It's easy to connect with UDSL in a variety of ways. As an alum, you can now nominate students to become part of the Leadership Honors Program and become mentors to current students. Connect with the law school's social media accounts, stay connected with career services, provide an externship, join a committee of the Alumni Association, or present at our free annual Alumni CLE. As you reach a transition in life, let the Alumni Association know about it. And although you are a student for a relatively brief period of time, you are always part of UDSL. So here is to the next step in your professional journeys, and we all look forward to celebrating your continued successes. Thank you.
As this commencement ceremony draws to a close, the University of Dayton marks 172 years of service to our students. We congratulate and salute you, the family and friends of today's graduates, for the important role that you have played to support these students during their matriculation at UD. Let's give another round of applause to the family and friends gathered here today. And for the class of 2022, we salute you for your achievements and wish each of you well in your life's journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please now stand if you are able for the benediction offered by Reverend James Fitz, and please remain in your places at the conclusion of the benediction until our guests have left the stage and the academic procession has cleared the main aisle. After the benediction, please exit the arena promptly if you would, due to our graduate commencement exercises, which are scheduled to begin shortly. Please join us at Keller Hall immediately following our ceremony for a reception, and I thank you again all for attending.
As we come to the end of our commencement ceremony, we pray in a special way for those who have received their degrees this day. We pray in thanksgiving for their perseverance in the journey that included some unprecedented circumstances. We pray in thanksgiving for all those who supported them. May the challenge to learn, lead, and serve that has permeated their educational experience here at the University of Dayton give vision and purpose to the next steps on the journey of their lives. Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we pray today in a special way for those on whom the university has bestowed law degrees. During their time at the university, they faced a pandemic that none of them expected, nor a time that any of them asked for. Now they face a world torn by violence and war, especially in the Ukraine. Nevertheless, these unprecedented events have also been the opportunity for new lessons, lessons of solidarity and the common good. The events have invited us all to take nothing for granted, especially the formative experiences of the campus experience and relations with friends, faculty, and staff. We have been invited to respond to the given circumstances with humility and courage, but most importantly, to bear the cost of love. Now, as they graduate, we ask you, gracious God, may you teach those recognized this day to walk by faith. May they be guided by your words and deeds as they continue the search for truth, the truth that will set them and others free. May your Spirit, the Spirit of love, descend upon them and inspire them to love not only in word and in speech, but in deeds and truth, so that they help build communities in a world where the dignity of each person is upheld and respected, and all people join in the search for peace, justice, and love. May the blessing of you, our loving God, descend upon all those who have supported them, parents, family, friends, mentors, and teachers. May your power and strength sustain them now and always in their commitment to learn, lead, and serve. We make this prayer to you, our gracious God, now and forever. Amen.